All right, welcome to the March episode of BPEP Community Moments. I'm your host, Brandon Davis, and I'm here with my co-host,
Nyota Robinson. Oh, okay, thank you. You always have to get me adjusted. Oh, it is on, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm good. See, Brandon's
You're
trying
good.
to get me
I'm not
adjusted.
on.
You're not on? Okay.
I am now.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. You can see we're a little keyed up this morning, trying to get organized.
I want to start with a tone of how to get involved in your community. And once again, we talked about that a lot on this show, but for the digital audience, I wanted to revisit this because a lot of the aims that we have in conversation here, and a lot of the activism that we all indulge in, is to make things better. So I want to talk about how to become a change maker, how to get involved, and how to steer away from putting things down consistently and not stepping in to change them.
What do you mean putting things down? Give me an example.
So we always.
First of all, did you set the tone?
That's what we did.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So give me an example, because I got a couple of things that I think that you might be talking about. So give me an example.
Here's an example.
Okay, give me an example.
Here's an example.
Oh, wow.
If we are consistently running down the city
government, or
no, the city, the people.
Okay. You mean like the city,
community?
Okay, I got you.
If we're consistently running down the community, we don't have this, we don't do this, it's not this, it's not that, but we're also not engaging in the conversations to change them in a prolific way, saying this is what we can do next, or let's try this, and then making it happen. Tim said something that was really great, because I asked him a specific question, and what he said is there has to be a mind shift from thought to action.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't like this, it's terrible, da da da. All right, the next thing is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, and how are you going to get involved? So I think one of the best examples, and exactly what I'm talking about, is people to say, oh, the community is not this, the city, our environment is not this, and they don't do anything to change it, or they're not involved in the efforts that are being implemented to change it. Because here's this, I also noticed something. People who have criticisms about our particular environment, they'll say, oh, we don't have any spaces for Black people. I was like, oh, but you also don't go to the August Wilson Center.
Right.
Oh, we don't have, some people might say, oh, we don't have disability advocacy. Well, you don't know the lead is having multiple events coming up.
Right, yeah, we are.
So, like, there is a tone there that I feel like you have to be involved to get your answers. And also, you just have to be a part of the solution rather than the problem. Now, there is one particular thing going on, and maybe we could just talk about it.
Well, wait a minute. I'm going to say this. You are in on, even though I know this is not, we're not prophetizing either. So when you hear me talk about God, it's truly my opinion. But you were in on, obviously, my morning meditation, because I was actually reading about the body and how, the Bible tells us that the one part, the eye needs the arm, and how the different parts of the body I think it's for Corinthians. If my pastors listen, don't get me. I promise you, I'm memorizing them scriptures. But anywho, we got a challenge to memorize the main scripture. But no, my point seriously is that what I took away from that, and I'm hearing you, is envy. I can't say, okay, everything's wrong over here because I'm looking at what you should be doing. What is my responsibility? If I'm the ear, I should not be talking about what the foot should be doing. Maybe I need to listen or act. And I think that a lot of times we don't, and we could be whomever, don't understand our purpose. That's where I'm going with that, because I was going to bring that up. Then when you started down this path, I'm like, Brandon was in the lift with me this morning reading about. But no, seriously, if we knew our purpose for our community, so let's start there. Have we ever identified what our purpose is in our community? Like on the onset of this, every week, Dr. Alexis, you looking at me, so I didn't got her out her book, y'all. She looking like, what we about to get into? See, we're going deep. We're going ocean deep. No, but seriously, have we ever established a mission statement for ourselves, for our community, where we want to see our people go and flourish. I think oftentimes we're chasing the trends.
Mhm.
We're so busy worrying about
Exactly.
survival,
Yes.
competition. A lot of us here in the city will say, oh, Pittsburgh's like a crab in a barrel. Well, how do we address the fact that, once again, going back to what you said, I can't be Brandon, I can't be Dr. Alexis. So my contribution to this city and to BPEP cannot compare to someone else because I'm in my purpose.
And more
So how do we dig that up? And then I want to hear your analogy.
For the person that is looking at another city,
right,
and they're saying, oh, we don't have that and we don't have this and we don't, because they have that and they have this. Here's the thing, we're not supposed to be that city.
That part.
And if you're looking at somebody else and says, well, they have the shine and they do this and they do that, and then you're trying to outdo that particularly, then you're robbing yourself
and the community
of what you have to bring.
Right. And
that's what we need.
Yeah, the whole thing of the matter is we need diversity amongst ourselves.
Exactly.
We need to spur originality amongst ourselves. We need to put ourselves in position to where we're not trying to compete with others. We're trying to compete with ourselves. And I think that, at least I'll speak about for here in Pittsburgh, oftentimes we're so quick to shut things down and criticize them. I think that's where you're going. Instead of identifying, hey, is this something that I could click up with, I could build upon? Because everything is not everybody's jam. It's just not. Well, nowadays, everybody wants what did Andy Warhol call it, everybody gets 15 minutes of fame. And now with social media, not that we're judging the social media because we're using it.
Right.
But everybody wants to be a superstar. And the thing with that is, with influence and other people, is that sometimes when you lose your grounding of reality, not to say that that's what happened to them in particular, but I feel like our society is going so far away from the center that we forget what really was the core that brought us up. And, you know, I've been having a lot of conversations with different people, you know, in the community and stuff.
We forget the basics.
Right. And none of us grow in isolation. And we have to understand our history. We are communal people. That means we are a people of community. We're used to having auntie, uncle, grandmama, big sis, this person. I mean, so you could have 3 and 4 people working because you didn't have to worry about who was watching your kids. And, you know, so not that these new community social constructs of family have all of a sudden happened, the single mom, the single father. No, there was no singleness in our community because you were raised by your community. My neighbors babysat me. No, really, I mean, like literally whenever my neighbors, my upstairs neighbor, my down the street, that was my community. That's my extended family. And I feel like, I don't know how to put it in place. And I wish I would have wrote it down. We are more connected to this false sense of community on the internet. And I want to know, if you saw half of these people in public, would they speak to you?
And it's to the point where people feel like they're missing out on something.
FOMO.
And they will put down or denigrate with their reality for this mirage of a thing.
Right.
And I think that's hurting us because this is also the thing that will keep us from engaging politically and advocating for our own interests and building our systems and building our infrastructures to the point where we will always be asking for something instead of being divvied something or paid what's ours.
Right. So from what I hear you saying is we need to go from a position of complaining, criticizing, and complacency to movement, action, outreach. So we're on some Nike time. Right. We're on some just do it. We're just do it. Yes. So okay. So if you don't take anything else from what we said today, you use your moral compass now, people. The end goal is to just do it. Whether it's to be involved. Yes. Start that business that you're complaining about Pittsburgh doesn't have. How about that? Everybody complains we don't have any soul food. All you little home cooks and chefs that are on Facebook and Instagram trying to get people to buy your plates.
Yes.
Come on now. Do it the proper way. Go to the health, what do you call them people? The Board of Health. Why don't you all go and get like a building? You know how they have like the communal kitchens where like all the little, I don't want to call them sheds, but stalls, food stalls. I know there's one in Lawrenceville, the Great Hall, right?
Yeah.
Lawrence Hall, thank
Here's
you.
this.
Cuddy.
And maybe I'm trying to figure. Just
give me the analogy. I'm anxious.
Well, here's the thing. My reaction to a lot of the criticism for our community, our city, I'm just like, we do have that.
Right.
Like if somebody was to say, "Oh, there's no soul food," have you not had Carmine's?
Yeah.
Like Carmine's was fire.
Right.
I'm like, you don't know because you don't go to explore it. Because I've been on this for a while, and I had this conversation with Tim and Ron Lawrence and John Moon. Stephanie was there.
Yeah, they told me it was a powerful conversation.
A lot of people, if you know me, you know I am on this conversation, and the conversation is just simply what I said. When people putting down our culture, our own people putting down our culture and putting down our community, and specifically putting down this city, where I feel like people work too hard and sacrifice too much to move the needle, and you are either sitting at home, or even if you're going to your 9 to 5 and you're getting home and you're eating bonbons on the couch. Like, yes, you work hard, but are you moving the needle in the city is what I feel like people sacrifice so much to do that, to keep consistently hearing these criticisms. Here's the thing. Somebody called into Ricky Smiley.
Okay.
Ricky Smiley Morning Show has a big whatever, big reach.
Right.
And they cited a study from Pitt from 2019.
Okay.
They said that black people are 90%, it's 90% better for the quality of life for black people to move out of the city.
They talked about that on the Ricky Smiley Show.
On the Ricky Smiley
Show. Down there in Atlanta, you up here in Pittsburgh business.
But somebody called in and brought that up. They said, okay, Ricky, let me ask you, what is the worst city for black people?
Whoa.
And it was like Pittsburgh. And it was based off of this study that came from Pitt in 2019. Well, I, in 2026, looked up, because what they used was the murder rate. Mm-hmm. They used the infant mortality rate.
Right.
And they used some other things. But it was only but a handful of things. I was like, number one, you don't judge a pond to an ocean.
Right.
Or a river to a galaxy. You don't judge those things. Those populations aren't. But also, if I was to take the very same metrics, Missouri and Mississippi are way better because they have higher murder rates. They have higher poverty rates for black people. So how can, if we're only judging by a handful of factors? And I just thought it was crazy, but I saw somebody else share it, and I'm just like, wow, we're in 2026 and we're still running out of all the. Let me tell you something. In the historic Hill District, we had a Emmy sitting right there on the table. These things that people, they sacrifice and work for on the grandest stages of the world for that little statuette, and it was sitting right there in the historic Hill District. I do not underestimate this city at all. And my point is, those criticisms, people will say, we don't have a place for black people. But here's this. We have the August Wilson Center. Sometimes there's too much things in a weekend to even go to.
I know, like I was actually concerned. That's why I didn't, as I mentioned when I first ran in, there was so much going on this week. And in the city, I figured, why text and say, hey, what are we going to talk about? We could just keep it moving. And I just can't underscore the fact is you have to connect with the things that connect to you.
Right.
I am an artist in my soul and in my heart. So for me to say that there is nothing cultural, artistic here to do, it's a fib. It's just not a conversation. Right. So at this point, if I'm looking for something specific, I need to be bringing that or searching it out. I think oftentimes we're making 1,000 excuses. Yeah. And I want to use a word that a lot of people probably are going to call a cuss word after this. It's called responsibility. Okay? And responsibility. That's not for your general day-to-day. There you go. And that's why I was saying.
Because some people repulse community. We're talking about that. Some people want community and they want community, but they don't have the humility to even be in that community. And Tim said something else too. Tim said, sometimes we get so mad and it'll be 2 weeks later, we forget what we're mad about, but we still don't want to jive with this other person.
Right.
And it's because something we did. I don't want to give those conversations away, but I asked Tim Stevens, Ron Lawrence, and John Moon, all older people from our perspective.
Right.
And I asked them, y'all have done so much. Y'all have corralled community. Y'all have organized. Y'all have institution built. How do you manage all these people, personalities? And they said, you have to decide what you want to do. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to build, or do you want to basically just stay in your discontent?
Wow.
So you have to say sorry when you're wrong. You have to accept the things. Tim said he kicks himself if he offended somebody.
Yes, Tim, in my opinion, sometimes I want to push Tim because I'm like, Tim, you didn't do anything. And Tim's like, oh, you're just so mean. No, but what I hear is we need a human sensitivity. We need to cultivate our sensitivity. And once again, not to bash media, not to bash AI, because we are at an accelerated rate moving into that world. We want to remember there is such a thing as a human touch. Every person has a human need to be accepted, loved, feel a place of community, connection. And when that's not fostered and you focus on a negative, and I think that's what Dr. Alexis was saying, it devalues the work and it erodes at the foundation and at the legacy that so many people have suffered and still are working to build.